had to kind of fight a little bit for this interview because I do know that you are friends with one of my coworkers, Phil Sneed of Goldfinger and Story of the Year. And I know that he would love to be talking to you right now. But being that it's the 20th anniversary of the debut record, which is in my favorite, like it's in my top 20 of records of all times. It's really exciting to get to talk to you at this point. Yeah, I'm a huge fan.
Very cool. Tell Phil I said hi though.
So man, it's been 20 years since then. All the songs hold up, still playing them, still loving them. What does that feel like to you to look back on the last 20 years since you put it out?
A lot's happened. That's all I was just telling somebody else, like somebody said the same thing, like, wow, you know, it's a 20th anniversary. That's amazing. And I kind of go, well, doesn't every album that's ever been released eventually have a 20-year anniversary? So I don't know if it's that special or not, but it's weird. 20 years when we first put it out seemed like an unimaginable amount of time. I remember our attorney at the time when we signed a record deal in 2000. You know, we were in the office and he's going over all these things that he had gotten for us in the deal, kind of patting himself on the back. And he mentioned something about, you know, and after 15 years, you guys are going to get the, you know, full publishing back or something. Like, you know, I forget exactly what it was, but I remember in that moment kind of looking over at the other guys and going, 15 years? Are you kidding me? Like, that's so far from now. There's no way, you know, we're going to be doing anything 15 years from now. And here we are.
I mean, when you said everyone has a 20-year, I think everyone has a 20-year, but some of them go unnoticed. And this is not something that is going unnoticed. I mean, that was, speaking of Phil, I mean, your debut record went platinum like right off the bat. Those songs were absolute bangers, Crawling in the Dark, Running Away, such absolute hits, and they just finally hit it for Story of the Year.
Like I know, yesterday. I saw the posts of them getting their platinum record. Congratulations, Story of the Year.
It must have taken them all of 20 years to
welcome to the club.
Yeah, like, welcome to the club, man. But I mean, now going out on Summerland, and I know you've got the big headlining date at the Whiskey A Go Go. Very sad, St. Louis is not in Hollywood, California, so we're not going to get the actual day of show. But we're going to get you in town on September 16th as a part of a damn good lineup. Everclear, Living Color, Wheatus. So you are still doing stuff 15 to 20 years later, and a lot of stuff. So yeah, what's that like? How's the tour? You know, are you excited about it? What's going on? What's up with the guys?
It's good. The tour was broken up into two legs. The first was all of July, and the short answer is it's been awesome. The everybody on that tour is ego free, and so I don't know, just so easy to get along with. It's a good combination of music too. It kind of spans, like, you know, Living Color was a band I listened to like in the in the late 80s into the early 90s, and then Everclear was like mid to late 90s. We just had a hit, you know, in late 90s to 2000s, and we kind of carry it from 2000s to, you know, and on. So it's a good little time machine of music as a whole show. But I don't know, everybody just, I get the vibe that everybody just really appreciates that we're even doing it. You know, I'm talking about all the bands and all the crews. It's a different vibe than it would have been a few years ago. I could be wrong, but I almost get that that impression that everybody's just like, oh my God, you know, we're just so happy to be here. I don't, you know, some of the
from
shows
a fan perspective, that's exactly how we feel. Just in case, that is exactly how we feel. And you guys are such an incredible addition to that lineup. I've been to that show many times and seen Lid and Sugar Ray, but you're actually bringing it into the like Y2Ks, which I was a senior in high school, or I was a junior in high school when this record came out. So it was like, I got my driver's license. I was like, this was one of the first records I was playing in my car. So you're like bringing that tour into a new era for us, which is so exciting. And hell yeah, we have been missing live music so much. And you know, that show's going to be a damn hit parade. All of those bands have incredible songs. I mean, we talked about the debut record, but I mean, the reason is arguably one of the biggest songs ever. Like you and speaking of which, that's how y'all just jumped onto TikTok with the most viral first video anybody has ever seen.
Yeah,
With the lip from that song.
yeah, that was something our manager was pretty much hounding us for a couple of weeks, going, "Hey, any of you guys have TikTok?" We're like, "No." Well, they're doing this thing, you should check it out. And it, like half the things a manager says, it goes in one ear and out the other. And then a couple weeks later, "Hey, have you checked it out?" "No." "You should check it out." Then another week later, "You should check it out." And we're like, "Well, what is it?" And it's like, "Well, you should just look at it. There's like 600 million people doing this
Yep.
thing." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, we should check it out." And obviously, there's so many different social media outlets, and we as a band have never been the most savvy with our social media. I don't know. I almost feel like we almost got there generationally, like
Yes.
as it being something that we like really were passionate about doing, and we always kind of saw it almost as like a necessary evil rather than something that we could use creatively. So all of our outlets in the past have been really informational. It's just like, here's where we're playing, here's pictures from the show. It was very about the band and nothing else. But then we saw this TikTok thing, and people who know us personally know how unserious we are about ourselves. And the only thing we take seriously is the music. And even then it's debatable. And I don't know, it kind of like, we kind of thought maybe this is finally that outlet for us to just kind of be ourselves a little bit. So we had fun with it a little bit. And even that being said, our manager's like, "You got to do more, you got to do more." And
Yeah.
we're just kind of like,
I'm with your manager. First of all, I did that trend and then saw you guys, and it was best in trend. Not always does the band come in best in trend. I saw Simple Plan jumped on it. Papa Roach has done it. I actually called Dan from Story of the Year and hounded them to get on it when Until the Day I Die became the trend. They slept on it. It's fine. But you guys came out 3.4 million likes right away. And then the next video was so genuine. You guys just talking to your following about what it's like to be on TikTok. I love you guys making fun and like poking fun at what it would be like if the drummer from Sum 41 came in and joined. I mean, it's really a way to kind of feel like you're a part of the camaraderie of a band, because we all expect that a bunch of dudes who are friends are having inside jokes on the bus and stuff like that. And what really makes the tour fun. And for us now, we get to be a part of it. Like, we're in your rehearsals having fun with you.
See, I'm taking mental
I would love to
notes
see
right
more
now.
of you.
I'm taking mental notes right now going, okay, so this is actually what works, because we only made a handful of videos, and there have been a lot of people going, "You got to do more, you got to do more. You're going to be out on tour, you have a lot of time and material." And we're like, yeah. And then we don't. So yeah, okay. I got
You guys come to St. Louis,
write it down, make sure it happens. Yeah, it's part of me is almost afraid if the world saw how dumb we are as people, like that we'd lose our careers would disappear, or vice versa. Maybe it takes off even further. But
oh yeah, get that yellow, was that Lamborghini you were rolling in one of the TikToks?
I don't know. It was a friend's Ferrari, I think.
So I do want to ask what you guys were up to during COVID, what that was like for the band. Are you guys writing, talking, obviously rehearsing? And then what is that? Are there any fears that you have going forward and touring with Delta and everything going on? Just kind of your thoughts as a musician on everything.
Well, we just like every other band on the planet had to shut everything down. And for a second, I would kind of joke about it and kind of tell the guys like, "Hey, guess what? We're touring. We're doing as many shows this year as 21 Pilots." Like,
Yeah.
Like we're not doing shit, and neither are they.
Yeah. We're all the playing field has been leveled.
It was the ultimate playing field leveler, and then a lot of offers started coming in to do virtual things, and we entertained the idea, and almost like the TikTok, we just kind of said nah.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people, we just focused on our families and our health and stuff like that. we didn't even rehearse. Actually, there was bands I knew that still at least got together. We didn't rehearse for like 18 months. We never saw the four of us weren't in the same room for over a year, which is by far the longest we'd ever gone. So once we did start rehearsing again to go on this SUMMERLAND tour, I didn't really know what to expect, but everything came back really quickly. And you know, it's an overused cliche, but it was just like riding a bike. New music. The guys in the band have been sending me new ideas for a long time. I, in my either laziness or uninspired, you know, headspace, have not been putting anything on top of the music, you know, lyrically. And it's obviously it's not because I haven't had enough time. We've had nothing but time, but writing music has never been about time. You know, when if you're inspired, you're going to write in the shower, you're going to write whatever, you know. So that being said, the last month or so, I've been doing a lot of interviews and hearing a lot from people asking about new music. So I definitely feel the fire building. So I've been tinkering.
I do like to hear that quite a bit. And I understand that with everything going on in the world, I mean, like literally everything that's going on in the world, just trying to stay healthy and alive over the last couple of years has been really tough. So I can understand where your brain would just kind of maybe not like just.
Yeah. I kind of feel like all of us, but definitely me, I can only really speak for myself, literally like cut that part of my mind out, like music and touring. And it was just all about, you know, keeping my kids sane and going virtual school and stuff like that. And as far as these shows coming up, yeah, I'm a little concerned about the Delta variant. Not personally. Everybody on all four bands is vaccinated. All the crew's vaccinated. So if one of us contracted COVID, I'm sure we'd be okay, you know, statistically. But I wonder sometimes still, like, you know, if it's the most socially responsible thing to be doing. I'm admitting this out loud. You know,
I went to Lollapalooza for one day to see, and I felt that pressure. I sat so far in the back and on a blanket by myself with my 72-year-old father, like no one near us. But I feel the same way. And I think your fans appreciate that you feel that, but that you're still like the music. Right.
I don't want anybody to get sick, but I also want everybody to have a good time. So it's a weird tightrope to walk. Luckily, the first leg of the SUMMERLAND tour, nobody got sick, at least on the touring, you know, anybody that we can actually keep track of. But that was kind of prior to the whole Delta thing happening. So this next leg, which runs from September 10th through like October 16th, it's going to be a little bit more challenging. But to be honest with you, most of the time we, was spent on buses, and like I said, around people who are vaccinated, and if we happen to be playing venues that were indoors throughout the day, everybody was masked until the show. Obviously, I'm not going to play a show with a mask on.
We pay to hear your voice, sir, so we appreciate that.
And at that point, it's kind of a roll of the dice, and it's kind of I guess it's a risk we're obviously willing to take at this point.
Yeah. One more question on that before I move on. As a musician, can you tell your listeners what we can do to help? Is it merch? Is it tickets? What is it? Is it just social media support? As a musician, what can we do to help the touring industry and keep things going?
Well, I mean, you said the touring industry, so obviously it is going to shows, it is buying, you know, merch and stuff like that. But that being said, there's only so much that a fan can do, you know. I mean, unless they want to go to a bunch of shows in a row. I don't think much has changed since prior to COVID as far as what fans can do to help out touring bands. But I don't like I said, I don't want people rushing out there. If you're not feeling well, don't go to the show. You know, just stay home. We'll be back. We'll be back again. Right. I promise.
I think that's the one thing we can count on, is that most bands at this point can say, if we're coming through this year, we're going to want to come back for multiple years after taking so many years off, that we should have some adequate chances to get to see you guys. Right.
yeah, like it's important, obviously, for us, for fans to be there, and it's obviously important for people to go see music. Like I said, if you're like, oh, I'm gonna go anyways, I'm not feeling good, just chill. We'll be back.
Well, the last thing I wanted to do, and I'm kind of, I like doing these kooky things, but I just want to do like word association with you. I just have like 10 words. I'm going to shoot them at you. You can, if there's a story to go with it, great. If it's just one word, that's great. Whatever pops up, whether it connects or not. Let's just see
Okay.
what happens. The
All
first one
right.
is 2001.
Oh, well, the album. That's what the first thing I was gonna say. Um, excitement. But really, I think 2002, and I'm looking off this
Yeah.
direction because there's actually one of the plaques, one of the from
Yeah.
the album. Um, I always talk about with our guitar player saying that 2002 might be the greatest year of my life.
Yes.
Don't tell my wife and kids that. Um, prior, aside from that type of thing,
Because the record came out in
2002,
November. So by the time
two
2002 had
yes,
hit, it was,
2002 is when we spent 300 plus days on the road. We toured with all our friends and bands that we were fans of. We saw, 25 countries, and and it was an extremely selfish year. I mean, in a good way, because there was nothing at home like keeping me to like I need to go back home.
yes.
It was just
So you
my
could
life
fully be
out.
present.
Yes, I can be on the road. Oftentimes when a tour would end, instead of like getting the first flight out, which is what we've done since, pretty much, like we want to go back home and get some downtime. We would stay in the city for an extra few days and just kind of, let's hang out and do this. And it was a really, I don't know, it was like kind of like blossoming as an adult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so when you say 2001, it's right up against that, and that's
It
kind
really,
of
it's 2002, which is great. It was my senior year and your record changed my year. So thank you for that. SUMMERLAND Tour.
grateful. Just really
Yeah.
grateful to be doing it.
All right. Running away.
Uh, I think of an airplane hangar in Santa Monica, which is where we shot the video. And the first time I realized we were going to go to Japan to play shows was during that video shoot. I remember our manager came in and said, "Hey, we're playing these festivals in Japan. I'm half Japanese. My family in Japan was just so excited."
Oh, Onamai wa nan desu ka?
Huh?
I was in middle school for a couple of years and in college for a bit. I always wanted to go, so I can totally understand how that would bring back that very solid memory for you. TikTok.
TikTok, cooking videos and girls dancing.
Love it.
That's
The
the reason is lightning in a bottle and a life-changing thing.
absolutely. Touring.
What's that?
Touring.
Touring. It's like maybe the most fun thing I can do while not doing much at all.
Amazing. Phil Sneed or Moon, depending on what you go by.
Super high voice, jealous of how good he sings.
Right? Damn it, that guy. Crawling in the dark.
That's the first song I ever heard of us played on our hometown radio station. I almost got a concussion while shooting the video. Hit my head on the camera, boom or whatever they want to call it. And yeah, like starting gun in a race, really.
Love it. St. Louis.
It used to be, I've got some mixed memories there. St. Louis is where we were on September 11th, 2001.
Wow.
Right. Yeah, but that's not the only memory, but I remember.
No, yeah. But I mean, everyone remembers where they were that day. That's
right.
like, where were you
I
that day? You
remember
can say
I was
St. Louis.
I was sharing a room with our drummer, and I'd kind of woken up and turned on the TV, and I was watching shit go down, and I remember thinking at the time, like, wow, like we just started this journey, and we may just have to cut it short. This is going to be World
Yeah.
War III, like.
I mean, everything was, all bets were off that day. It was literally
Yeah.
just
No, everything was up in the air at that point. So it was terrifying and saddening and all that kind of stuff. But that's not the only thing I remember about St. Louis. We've had so many cool shows there, and I've got a really close friend now who lives out near me in LA that's from St. Louis, and
Yeah.
so
Okay, last one is 105.7 The Point.
I want to say we did one of the Point Fest, years ago. And here's this is also, I don't know, a mixed memory, depending on how you think about it. It might have been 2002 or 2003. We were on tour and I had to have like emergency root canal, like something
oh God,
or
that's
other.
so awful.
Like basically, it was terrible. So I had it done in North Carolina or something like that. And then for the next few weeks until we got back to LA, I had to basically hold everything together with like duct tape. And so the doctors are like, here's some Vicodin, here's some Advil. I want you to take a Vicodin every 4 hours with 4 Advil. And so I'm taking, 4 or 6 Vicodin a day and like 16 Advil a day. And because my jaw was hurting, I couldn't really eat a lot of stuff. So I'm taking all this medicine on an empty stomach. And I feel like it all culminated in St. Louis at Point Fest, where I play a show, I get off the stage, I go back to the dressing room, and I kind of collapse like on the floor in the dressing room, and I just fell asleep. And it was in the middle of the day, and I remember our tour manager waking us up like at night now, like, hey, or waking me up going, dude, we gotta go.
Dark.
We gotta go. Everything's done, and I had been sleeping on the floor of and I remember that night I go to the bus and I got to take a piss, and it looked like straight brown. It was just blood. I was just pissing blood.
Awful.
Yeah. So yeah, St. Louis. And
dude, I just want to say that's very rock and roll. Like Dave Grohl like breaks a leg, and here you are like ready to piss blood, but you're like, I will do St. Louis's show.
I go on the stage, I collapse, and then I piss blood that night, and then I call the doctor the next morning, and they're like, you got to stop taking all this medicine, and I'm like, okay. And then within X amount of time, I was back home and had everything properly fixed. But I do remember that because that was a harrowing show.
Well, I'm looking forward to September 16th. I feel like this is going to be the year for the most positive experience you could possibly have. The Factory is a brand new venue. It's absolutely stunning. I myself cannot wait to see the show. I hope you play tons of songs from the first record, even though I know it's not the 20th anniversary show. If I get to Hollywood, right. I would, dude. This is so cool.
I'm going to just say we'll probably play a third to half the set will be the first album. So
just a little happy girl dance for myself. So
there you go.
September 16th, Summerland. Doug, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I really appreciate it. And just as a huge fan, I would love new music. Please and thank you. I hope that the touring out there gets the juices going. I think perhaps being back in the element and not in everything else will be
right.
Good.
No, I agree. Thank you so much.